Good morning. Good morning. I can't hear myself in the microphone, in the headphones. I have to turn those up a bit. Sorry about that, folks. It's 10:30. 10:30, 30 seconds. Welcome to the show this morning. I'm Illya McLellan. I'll be interviewing my friend Daniel Brown this morning at about 11. He's a musician who resides in Fielding, and he's released some new music recently, so we'll have a chat to him about that. And other than that, I'll be playing a bit of music, talking about stuff that's happening around about. There's a bit of controversy going on in Masterton at the moment with the proposal for this new civic centre that's going to cost quite a lot of money, and the recent talk has been of getting rid of the outdoor pool at by Queen Elizabeth Park there, and putting the civic centre in that site, on that site, and there's a little bit of distemper around that, and I think there's still quite a lot of opposition to this new civic centre in some ways, from what I gather, even though people on the council are saying that the opposition is limited to a small amount of people, though. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Because there are people who are interested in such matters and who comment on them, and then there are others who would be interested in them perhaps if they knew about them. But you'll have to see how all that pans out. I think if you want to be a part of like the debate as such, there is actually a page on Facebook called Masterton Matters, and it's worth following. There's a bit of chat on there about things going on in Masterton. I've got a bit of music to play this morning, as always, and just some music that I've been listening to over the last week, and I did find this track here that I thought was pretty, it's a good little Sunday morning number. Maybe actually it might be a little bit of a talk to someone about maybe recent nights, but it's by a man called Kurt Vile and his band, the Violators. Bit of a play on word there, Kurt Vile and the Violators, and it's called "Lost My Head." There, check this one out.
Lost my head there. Lost my head there. I don't wanna sit around, walk around today. I'd much rather levitate. Bugging out about a couple, 2, 3 things. Picked up my microphone and started to sing. I was feeling worse than the words come out. Fell on some keys, then this song walked out of me. Lost my head, I decided we liked it there. Lost my head there. About it, yell about it, oh no. Maybe I just wanna sing about it. roses all sweetly. I don't wanna sit around it, walk around it all today. So I gon' went ahead and just levitated. Lost my head there, oh whoops. Lost my head there again. Didn't wanna mess around, look around at all of it, but then I did though.
Yeah, so that's Kurt Weill and Lost My Head there. Good little number. He released an album, that album a few years ago now. I think it was in sort of around, at a guess, 2007, which is probably completely wrong, but everyone has access to Google these days, don't they? So the Masterton Civic Centre proposal is actually under investigation by the Ombudsman currently, which is an interesting development in some ways. There's been sort of the controversy has gone on for a couple of years now, with the initial vote being 6 4 and 5 against, and I think the deciding vote was the mayor's, and that's 6-5, which is a pretty close run thing, really, isn't it, when it comes to such a big outlay of money? Which is it'd be funny to see how this sort of pans out. $30 million is a lot of money, and sort of, I think the one thing that the people who are against it are saying is that just with events of the last couple of years, things have changed a lot in terms of spending and where money should be spent. But on the other hand, perhaps it is good to have a community focal point that residents can be proud of, but realistically, would there be a cheaper way of doing it, and maybe putting some of that money into community resources, like helping people who are struggling, who I know there are a lot at the moment with the way inflation's going at the moment in this country and around the world for that matter. At this stage, I'm still planning to have Dan on at 11, and but I do have some more music to play this morning. And I thought, I was listening to this in the car the other day, and I thought, that's a cracking tune. Why don't I chuck it on? And it's pretty, it's one of those ones that can maybe be a little bit melancholy, but it's just a lovely piece of music. It's called Wide Open. It's by the Chemical Brothers. Check this one out. Chemical Brothers, who were, I remember years ago when they brought out an album that was quite big, and it had that Superstar DJ track on it, and I had this acquaintance of who absolutely despised the Chemical Brothers because they were so famous, and it was sort of like, so you don't like them because they're so big, not because they play bad music, but he was just into this really underground DJ scene, and I could sort of understand where he was coming from, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, people like their music because it's good, so it's just that being alternative for the sake of it buzz that some people get into at points of their life. But anyway, I think this is one of their big hits that sort of went sort of really mainstream, but I don't really mind. I think it's a nice track. It's called Wide Open by the Chemical Brothers. Right, so that's the Chemical Brothers with Wide Open. Yeah, good sort of Sunday morning track, that one. Maybe a little bit somber, but there's always time for a lament now and again. You don't want to get into lamentations, but what about a lament occasionally? Why not? Yeah, so there was another track that I played the other day. It's a little bit happier, but the subject matter is a little bit, possibly a little bit more dark. But that's the funny thing about the Smiths. They would play music that sounded really beautifully happy, and then the lyrical content was always a little bit less so, which is always quite amusing, really. This track is Big Mouth Strikes Again. Bit of classic. I'm really going... Oh, well, I could... Yeah, no, I'll play this. It's good. Check it out. Big Mouth Strikes Again, the Smiths.
Sweetness, I was only joking when I said I'd like to mash every tooth in your head. Oh, sweetness, I was only joking when I said by rights you should be bludgeoned in your bed. And now I know how Joan of Arc felt. Now I know how Joan of Arc felt. As the flames rose to her Roman nose and her Walkman started to melt.
How's that? A bit of Big Mouth Strikes Again by the Smiths, and Morrissey on vocals there. Morrissey, a pretty controversial figure over the last few years. He's been sort of in and out of the news for differing views, as people are, occasionally. I did listen back to my radio show last week, actually, and noticed that I was umming and ahhing to an almost ridiculous degree. So this week I'm actually just going to keep talking and saying different words so that I don't say and ah. Just kidding. All right. Yeah. So yeah, Dan's going to be on soon, and in the meantime, I think we could play one of his favourite songs ever as a lead up, and that is called Slow Dive by Souvlaki Space Station, who are a band I know little about, but I will now play their song, hopefully, if it's on, depending on what music thing is it's on. Okay, here we go. Here it is, check it out. Souvlaki Space Station, Slow Dive. right. That was the band Slowdive with Souvlaki Space Station, and I've got Dan on the line now. Dan, can you hear me, mate?
I sure can, mate. I sure can.
How are you? What's happening? You're in Fielding, yeah? Still living in Fielding?
I am.
What's
still
happening
in Fielding? Still in Fielding.
The glorious land of Fielding? What's going on?
Hey, friendly Fielding. The sun is shining and the wind is blowing. Is what's happening in Fielding today.
Oh, that's a classic Central North Island weather system, isn't it?
100%. But, the sun's shining, so I've got nothing to complain about.
Yeah, just hopefully that wind doesn't get up too much, as it's prone to do. Yeah,
it's prone to do, especially around here, yes. Hey, so you just played Slowdive?
I did play Slowdive, and that's
awesome.
That's a big influence of yours then? It's a favourite song?
100%. Slowdive and that sort of whole shoegaze era is, a massive influence on me.
Yeah, cool.
In particular, that song. I love that song. It's my favourite song. The groove throughout, but all of the weird textures that are going on around it. I hear something new almost every time I hear it, or I revisit like these little blips and bleeps or little hooks throughout. Every time I listen to that song, I find something different in it. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. The bass, it did have a good bass guitar groove in there. Yeah. Quite noticeable.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I like those sort of ethereal, distant vocals where you can't necessarily make out what's being said, but there's a melody that's carrying things.
Yeah, that is cool.
Mysterious.
Yeah. The mystery. Is that
Indeed.
And so that's sort of what you're doing with your latest music.
Yeah. So I'm in a group called Polaroids of Polar Bears, and I take a lot of influence from that era of music, in particular what I like to call, back in the day you'd go to the music store and you had your rock section, your country section, and you had these weird bins called the alternative section.
Yeah, I remember the alternative section.
I lived in the alternative section.
It was just where they threw everything. They didn't know what it was.
Absolutely. And and there were beautiful freaks like probably you or I that love to scour through those alternative bins.
Yeah, there's many bargains to be
across,
had. Yeah.
100%. And you stumble across various bands that you would otherwise have never explored had you not decided to venture into the alternative bin. Slowdive being one of those for me, but many bands have come out of that. So Polaroids of Polar Bears, as far as a musical foundation, I lump it into, it's not one specific genre, but it is a specific era of music for me.
Yeah.
And that is what I call that sort of that early to mid 90s era. Beyond that, it kind of went a little bit weird for me, but that early to mid.
Yeah.
Even
early to mid,
venturing into that late 80s, late 80s Pixies is amazing. So that type of stuff.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely. No, I get what you mean there. There was sort of that period, and then it just sort of faded away a bit, didn't it, really?
It did, yeah. I mean, you could lump into that whole sort of category. I mean, I'm looking at my CD collection and tape collection right now, and, next to My Bloody Valentine, I've got a Mr. Bungle, and next to my Mr. Bungle, how eclectic, but yet, for me, just genre non-specific, but total era,
Yeah. Yeah, I know that Mr. Bungle did that odd album that I really liked. Oh, goodness, now I forgot the name. Disco Volante, the underwater disco or whatever. Or I don't know if that ever even means
I know the one you're talking about.
With the eyeball and the fish thing around it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, great album. Such a weird album. I really liked how weird it was, and it was actually one of those ones that you'd put on at like a party and people would be like, what the hell are you doing, man? And it'd be like, yeah. Yeah.
I still live in that space sometimes where if, people are putting on music, you just put on, again, I'll use Mr. Bungle as an example. You could put it on and you could almost scour around the room of those that are either going, what the hell is this? Versus those that are going, oh, this is interesting. What is this?
Yeah.
And, and then I go, I'm going to go talk to you.
Yeah, well, and then they did that album California, and I think it was 2000, and that was sort of a little bit more, sort of almost approaching normality in some ways, even though it had that heavy Eastern influence.
Yeah, I think they were exploring various things. I mean, that obviously all Patton in particular had gone off and done lots of different different types of exploration.
Yeah, no, they're one of my favourite bands ever, actually, Mr. Bungle. Huge fan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, sorry, what was that blinking and the beeping noise in the background? Facebook's trying to take over the computer.
Is it?
Yeah, but I'll close it. Now it's gone. And so what else is, so with the Polaroids for polar bears, I mean, I was talking to my friend Tylee Birkin last week. She is in a band from Napier called Lizard Prom. Have you heard of Lizard Prom?
I have heard of Lizard Prom, yes.
Yeah, no, they're pretty cool. They play like some quite cool sounds. I played a couple of their songs last week. One of them was called Betty Goes to Hell, which is actually a really cool track.
Nice.
But they were I was talking to her about sort of something that would be affecting you, and that's like the lack of gigs and touring and stuff like that. It's like
it's a weird time. It's a weird time as a musician not being able to display your art in front of people, and so we have to make physical pieces of art, which I'll be honest, my creative juices are they're always flowing, so I'm always creating in some way. But with lockdown and with our current red status, I've had to look at recording a little bit differently, and I'm looking at it in the line of, I'm not going to be performing this live, so what the hell can I do with it? And I can make it something, or make it come from somewhere else, rather than I need to be able to make this so that I can perform it live. Now I'm going, well, actually, I just need to make this, so whatever comes out is going to come out. So that's quite freeing in a way. But playing live's my natural happy space, and not being able to do it for the last 12 months has been a bit weird.
I bet.
Yeah. I mean, I had a tour booked at the, when was it booked? For July, August last year. New Zealand tour.
Yeah.
And, you had to pull the pin, which is like, shit. I had done 6 months worth of work to get up to that point, and you just have to pull the pin. It's a bit gutting.
It's well, one thing you'd also lose. You sort of lose that those moments of improvisation that you get in a live performance, and you're like, oh wow, 100%. I could do that when I record.
Yes.
And it takes away that element, a little bit, which is sort of something that's can be. It's a shame really, because there are some moments, I think, when people are on stage where they do things that they might not normally do, and then they're like, oh wow, that really worked, and you don't have that so much when you don't get that chance to play live.
No, you're absolutely correct. We were very lucky that I think it was in November, that was the last time we actually all played together. There was a gig in Palmy which was under red light, so everybody's sitting down and things, and we weren't going to play it, but then kind of in the final week I was like, let's just do it, because we don't know when we're going to be playing again. Yeah, it's going to be weird because we're used to people standing and moving, and people are going to be masked and sitting. Okay, let's see how we can make this work. And you know what? It was you just using the word, sort of the improvisation that happens. We improvised, yes, but we're improvising using the environment that we're in. So actually, where we wanted things historically to be ruckus, and therefore the audience can feed off that and move off that, we toned everything down, and it just felt nice, and I guess warm was the only way. I even said that when we were talking about it on stage. It's like, this just feels warm. Yeah. And it just felt different. So
yeah, cool.
It was nice. Yeah.
Did you hear
I don't know if I'd want to do it again, I'm going to be honest. I'd much prefer the ruckus and the loud.
yeah, loud ruckus is always good fun, eh?
Yeah.
Well, they just sort of tried to redo the Rhythm and Vines over Easter, but apparently it's now been canned. That's been canned.
I think they pulled the pin on that as well.
Yeah, I heard that. Right. It's surprising, sort of. I mean, I don't know, that now that the virus is out there and it's out and about, it's sort of, could you still put on a big event like that? And it's sort of, I think there's a lot of people who sort of think you could. So
I think, it's
sort of an interesting situation.
I use that word often as well. It is definitely interesting, right? It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I find where I sit in it, coming from a musician's perspective, of course I would love things to be as they were. Can we not, have these events happening? But in the same breath, hey, if we can't, we can't.
Yeah,
and
we
we'll
might
wait for
have
it
to
to happen.
just wait a little bit longer, possibly.
And if
That
we
might
have
be
to
the
wait
thing.
for it to happen, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Would I rather it happen now? Of course I would, but I'm okay to wait. Unfortunately, I do know of bands that this has really affected them in a way where they've just lost total motivation, which of course happens. Unfortunately, to the detriment of perhaps their band in the long run, which I'm like, that sucks. They just started to get some really good momentum. Now they can't play live. It's like, maybe you guys could pick it up again when we're able to play live. And they're like, no, we've just put so much work into it. We're all tired and we feel like we're done. It's like, wow, okay. So I'm counting myself fortunate that I'm not one of those.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's just a momentum thing sometimes with bands, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because they're all sort of...
Imagine that you're riding that wave of the momentum at that point, and then all of a sudden it's pulled out from under you. Wow.
Yeah, it's potentially completely demoralising, really, in some ways.
Yeah, you're 100% correct.
Yeah, so that's probably what's happened, and that's unfortunate. But hopefully they'll bounce back in another way.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I hope so too. I mean, other friends that I talk to in our music community in the Manawatu, which, if I'm honest, in the Manawatu, we're relatively insular, and what I mean by that is we support each other's gigs here. So a friend of mine, his name's Felix, he plays in a well-known band in this area called Soda Boys, and it's like, look, we haven't played in ages, we're just going to put on a gig in our lounge. And yes, they did all of the the scanning and that type of stuff
cool.
to make it feel like it was safe for those that because we're all about a safe environment here in our music community. Yes, there are those, and I'll probably lump myself in there. I'm a little bit more reckless perhaps, but there are those that perhaps aren't reckless, and they do wish to be in an environment that is scanning and vaccine passport checking. Cool, we will do that. So Felix put it on, and we all came around and we all supported it, and it was nice. So we're okay here. So if I ever wanted to put on a gig here in the Manawatu, I know I could. But the thing for me is I want to play elsewhere. Like I've not taken this in a negative way, but I've played Palmy, I've played Fielding, I've played around the Manawatu often. I want to play in the other places that I miss playing in. I miss playing in Tauranga. I miss playing in Auckland. I miss playing in Hamilton, in Wellington. I miss these places.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm holding out for.
Yeah, well, I think that whole private gig thing has been quite a big thing recently in the last few months. I think that's a way that some musicians have actually been still able to generate some income, is just doing private gigs for, smaller crowds and sort of saying, hey guys, can you help us out here? And everyone pay such and such an amount and we'll come out and do a gig for you. I did know some people I knew did a couple of parties in Hawke's Bay and and it went pretty well. Yeah. So,
yes.
I mean, there's but isn't it odd that, it's just, it used to be, I don't know, a bit of a niche thing, sort of doing private gigs, and now it's sort of become almost like a weird sort of norm, but it's not.
It's a beautiful thing for me. I mean, I've come from the DIY scene where you did put on your own gigs in someone's lounge. So it's beautiful for me to see again.
Yeah, experienced.
It's I've always liked house show gigs because the environment is everybody that's at a house show is there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And they're there to have a good time and have a party, and it's in that environment that it again is comforting, it's friendly, and to have a band sitting in the corner just creating a ruckus noise, that's beauty to me. So seeing it happening, it's kind of like I wish this had always been the way. It kind of dropped off with bars and alcohol companies predominantly having big control over the music scene in New Zealand, but that's just what it is. It's money,
Yeah, no, I did see.
I quite like it going back to the.
Yeah, it is sort of good. I mean, there's pros and cons, I suppose. What's happening with
absolutely.
Your other Fielding's Best Dancers?
Fielding's Best Dancers, yeah. So Brody and I, so Brody and I are Fielding's best dancers.
Yeah.
We're probably
Big call.
locked into that.
Big call.
I
No, I've always liked that band name. I think it's great. It's like one of the better band names I've heard in the last few years.
know. There we go. Thank you very much. Because we're a two-piece and because we really don't care, we can play whenever we want, and we do. So the last time we played was the last gig we played was in Tauranga at a festival called, I think it was called Loserpalooza.
Oh, yeah, nice. That's
And
cool,
it was a really good time. No one knew who we were. It was a festival itself, so we were on a lineup of a shitload of bands. No one knew who we were, which was perfect for us.
Yeah.
We were crashing on someone's lounge. They didn't know who we were, which was perfect for us. Everybody thought we were an electronic act
yeah, nice.
because there was literally just two of us there, and we're like, yeah, well, and because we had dancing in our name, so
Yeah.
all these people turned up expecting an electronic act. We're a two-piece hardcore punk band, so so it was beautiful for me.
Yeah, that's cool. And the gig went well?
The gig was awesome. The gig was really, really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
if I'm honest,
What sort of venue was it? Was it like an indoor or outdoor?
Yeah, it was. So this festival was held at the Tauranga Historic Village. If
Wow.
you've ever been to the Historic Village in Tauranga, it's like this makeshift old historic town
Yeah.
that has active businesses in it, and it's got like a town hall and a little chapel out the back. And so there were 4 of the main rooms hired out by a man called Austin, who is basically he is the Tauranga music scene.
Yeah, cool.
If you're in a band that's touring through Tauranga, you will know who Austin is because he drives all of the. It's basically the main promoter of all music in Tauranga.
Yeah.
And he's a very creative man as far as when we put on our first gig there. His response to us was, "Hey, thanks for getting in contact. Where do you want to play? Do you want to play in a venue? Do you want to play in a pub? Or do you want to play under a bridge?" And just as shits and giggles, we went, let's play under a bridge. He was being serious. And so he set up a generator show under a bridge in Tauranga.
Yeah,
and it was
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, well, that's
You know?
really cool, yeah.
Yeah. So Austin, amazing man. So he managed to get the Tauranga Historic Village, hired out all these rooms.
That sounds like a cool venue, Tauranga Historic Village.
Yeah,
Do some-
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You would wander out of what you could only describe as a saloon. So you'd wander out the saloon, wander into this, historic street, and you would hear off in the distance some electronic blips and blops happening from this historic-looking chapel. You'd walk into the chapel, and there's a dance party happening in there.
Yeah,
You'd walk
nice.
out of the chapel, make your way to the barber's salon, and there's an acoustic folk act playing, and so on and so forth. It was really. I'm saying this out loud, and it does sound. It was as bizarre as I'm saying. It was weird, but great.
Yeah, weird is good though, if it's done right.
Yeah,
Sort of
Hey,
weird can
absolutely.
be a little bit disturbing in some ways, but weird done right can be excellent, top notch.
I think weird. Yeah, I think you're right. Weird, the right way for me is it's that there's a bit of awe involved with it. Oh my God, what's happening here? This is not normal, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Rather than this is weird and I'm uncomfortable.
Have you got any plans for sort of maybe doing a gig at some point in the near future, or sort of anything up in the air?
So next gig that I have, I'm in another band. I'm in far too many bands, but I'm in another band called Jumping the Fucking Shark.
Oh yeah.
And we've got a gig with a band from Hamilton called Jang. And Jang are on a New Zealand tour. And they're doing a New Zealand tour knowing that they're doing a New Zealand tour under red light restrictions.
Yeah.
With that purely in mind. They are a really ruckus, I call them a punk rock band, but there's probably hybrids of what they actually are. I call them punk rock in the vein of sort of that late 90s skate punk type of vibe. Anyway,
Oh yeah, cool.
yeah, so they know that they're going to be playing to sit down crowds, and that to them is hilarious because their music is
It's
just
not-
so abrasive
it's not
and in your
sit-down
face.
music.
It's not sit down music. So they've decided to book a whole New Zealand tour, knowing they're playing to people sitting down, which I think was funny. So yeah, we're playing in Palmy at a venue called Snails, which is an artists run space. So it's a pure artist collective space, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we're playing on the 23rd of April, which I'm looking forward to. Jumping the Fucking Shark is another band where we care, but we don't care enough that we feel we have to practice all the time, you know? We care enough that we want to turn up and put on a good show. And if that means we've got to practice the night before for that to happen, we'll practice the night before. We're not going to practice
cool.
a month before, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sort of suspension of care in a funny way, but it's still there,
Indeed.
hovering over you. Yeah.
It's hovering, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool, man. Well, 23rd of
Indeed.
April is a good, it's sort of putting it out there a bit, so you're sort of like, yeah, things might be, maybe it won't be read by then.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm hoping it won't be read for the Palmy
Maybe
show.
that's why
Indeed.
Jang have booked this tour, because they just sort of like, they're just sort of like, yeah, eventually, near the end of the tour, we're just going to be able to have a normal gig, you know?
Yeah, maybe. Although they're wonderful humans, I love them all. Alex, their drummer, is amazing, but I can only but see him being disappointed if he wasn't playing to sit down crowds. he's absolutely chomping at the bit to play to sit down people, sit down crowd.
Yes, that
But,
would be funny. There'd be a lot of humour playing that sort of music to a sit-down crowd.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. No, we went into town late last year, Emma Jane and I, for a bit of a night out for my birthday, and we ended up in this bar and the music, and my friend was actually DJing, Ben. Benthamism is his name, he's on SoundCloud.
Yes.
Ben Cunningham Powell, and the music was getting pretty good, and we were sort of, like, well, we should get up and have a boogie.
Yes.
And you weren't allowed to, yeah. We got told off
Oh.
standing up and dancing at our own table. And then we actually couldn't help ourselves and did it again, and we actually got asked to leave the bar. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so we went somewhere else. Yeah, but it was just funny, like it was sort of, it was
That's
just
very
odd.
funny.
It was very
in
odd.
an odd way.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
It was amusing. Yeah.
You don't want people to dance, don't play music.
Yeah, well, it's just like you can only enjoy the music by tapping your finger or your foot, and
Wow.
that's it. But that was COVID sort of.
Yeah.
COVID
That story
hilarity.
actually reminds me of one of my favourite gigs that I've been to in the last 5 years. I went and saw a block party at the Michael Fowler Centre.
Oh yeah,
And and they played the whole White Alarm album, which is an amazing album to me and my ears. Anyway, upon hearing that it was at the Michael Fowler Centre, I thought, surely it's not going to be sitting down. They must remove all the chairs. No, it was sitting down, which I thought, this is weird. We watched the Beths, who opened. Amazing.
Yeah.
Loved the Beths. But everybody was sitting down, and I was looking around me going, this is really weird.
they're pretty high energy block party, eh? I mean,
They are very high energy.
Yeah, so that does
And
seem
then
odd.
block party.
to
Yeah,
have a
then
seated
block
gig.
party comes out.
Yeah,
There's maybe 3 or 4 people that stand up and walk their way to the front. Security comes out and ushers them back to their seats.
oh my goodness.
And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be bizarre. They then jumped into their second song, and I swear to you, I don't know what happened, but there was just a wave of the music is taking over.
Yeah.
There was 6 people popped up, then another 12 popped up, and then, you know what? We're all standing up. It was just the nature of what had to happen.
Yeah, did everyone
All
go
had to
down the
stand
front,
up 'cause
or
the music was saying? We all,
sort of
well, some
in the
did. Yep,
seats? Yeah.
some did. Absolutely, some did. Me myself, I'm a big fan of my own space. So
Yeah.
dancing, standing up in the imaginary circle that is my seat space was amazing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
no,
just
there are-
thought, it's that thing of seeing not just one person, but in a group, we will all stand up and go, yeah, we can all dance here. Surely, come on.
yeah. No, of course. Yeah, no. That sounds. What year was that?
I want to say it's about 3 years ago now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So obviously pre-COVID, all of those things that we now take as gospel, I guess,
So that was
under the
Wellington Town. Did you say Town Hall? Or you said
No, the
somewhere
Michael
else?
Fowler
Oh,
Centre.
Michael Fowler Centre. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking. Yeah, Town Hall is where they have actual gigs and you can move all the seats.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yes.
Yeah, that would have seemed more of a logical place for Block Party to play.
I would have thought so, but I think they were doing the refurbishments at that point.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think they'd ripped out all the floors and stuff. And
Do you remember that old venue that used to be down by Mount Vic, and it was next to like this Greek Orthodox church? And
God.
Oh man, what was that place called? It was called. Oh, it had a funny name. I just remember seeing. I saw a lot of. I saw Samuel L. Dub, and he'd like a hole, and even.
God.
And I think
Okay.
a couple of other big New Zealand acts there, and like it would have been around. Sort of, I think it was a functioning venue for about quite a few years, right up until around '98, possibly. And then it sort of closed down. Yeah.
Okay. No, it doesn't ring a bell for me.
I've been asking people recently because I just can't remember the name of it. But I'm sure maybe if I Google with the right parameters, I'd find it. But it was just a cool venue, and there used to be one of those places that sort of had a reasonable space. Even international acts would actually go there, smaller, like less popular international acts. I'm pretty sure they would go there. And I just remember the last gig that I think I saw there was Salmonella Dub, and they were really, really good. It was sort of
awesome
when they were really cranking along, and like the drummer vocalist guy would be like getting up and like running around the stage playing all the different instruments. And they were just they were great, like such a good live act, Salmonella Dub, for a number of years there. But,
absolutely.
I can't recall the name of that venue though, unfortunately. It'll come to me eventually. But so I thought, so we'll play it. So are you working on new music at the moment, or have you released anything?
I am working on new music at the moment. I've for Polaroids or Polar Bears, I've tended to live in at least doing one release a year. So at this point, I've released 4 releases, so the last 4 years. And this year's a little bit different. Like, again, just keeping in mind, I'm now recording knowing that I'm probably not going to play this live. And so I've kind of, and also I've given myself this weird premise. I want to write a pop song. And I know that's really, what the hell is a pop song? So, but still keeping in mind what that 90s aesthetic is for me, and what was a 90s pop song. So 90s pop songs for me were bands like there was a band called The Rentals, and they were heavy in the realm of sort of driving synth lines, but still had crunchy guitars, and I was like, I want to write songs like that. So at the moment, that's what I'm doing. I'm living in synth land I've still got my crunchy guitars and my loud drums, but I want to capture that part now.
Yeah, cool. That sounds cool.
I kind of feel like I've gone down the realm of the shoegaze. I've gone down the route of that sort of I don't want to say Britpop because it's not, but there are elements of Britpop that I've used before as well. Pixies, that type of thing. Yeah. So I've kind of gone, I want to write a pop song now, and I want to release a pop EP. So that's what I'm doing right at the moment. It's still in its works. I've got 8 tracks. They're all in various stages of mixing and mastering at the moment, which is good. Yeah. I have released one new song, which I released on Monday last week. But I'm kind of not really promoting it as an active thing until I've got the full album, but there is a single out there that's released. But
well, maybe I could play. I was going to play the track that you sent me was...
Yeah.
There's No Reasons I Know.
There's No Reasons I Know. So, yeah, that's a track that I released last year. But I'm kind of living in the space of... I never got to tour that EP. So at the moment, when I'm saying that I'm promoting stuff, I'm kind of going, hey, I know I'm working on this. Yes, I've released a new single, but no one heard this.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get
no
that.
one heard this.
Yeah. Oh, no, so I could play. I'll still play that to take things out then. So,
cool.
But, I look forward to catching up again and hearing your band's, whatever band it is, live eventually. I might aim to get over to Palmy for that gig with Jang.
The 23rd.
I quite like the idea of sitting down and being assaulted by a barrage of noise.
Indeed.
Yeah. No,
Indeed, that'd be great. It'd be
and
nice
I like
to see you.
Jang
Nice
is a
to
good
see
name
you.
too. I like the name Jang.
It
It's
is.
actually a
I
good-
like the name Jang.
It's like
Look them up.
Makes me think of
Bandcamp,
a
Facebook, Jang.
loud acoustic guitar. It's it makes a
yes.
janging noise. Yeah.
Nice.
But no, good to talk to you, bro. Are you playing football?
Hey, nice to talk to you too. I am indeed. We had a charity cup match yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Masters versus our development team.
Yeah.
All charity went to Kids Cancer Foundation, which was amazing
cool.
foundation for
that's
everything to go
awesome.
towards, which was good.
Yeah.
I didn't score a goal, but
yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. These
Centre
things
backs
happen.
don't really score goals.
No, not a lot. Get the occasional one, but yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Speaking of football, I woke up this morning, unfortunately, to the news that Ronaldo had scored a hat-trick against my Spurs.
Yeah, I was
which,
pretty happy about that. Actually, I watched.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
I watched the winner live, and I was like, "Yeah, that's excellent." And I actually watched the equal. I mean, I completely forgot it was on, and then I woke up and I was like, "Oh my goodness, there's a game on!" And then I managed to watch the second half, which was good.
Yes.
But
Yep.
yeah, not a bad match, and one of those sort of. It's just a bit of a funny season with Arsenal having 4 games in hand on United.
I know.
And I think I've got
I
two on Chelsea, and
Yep.
yeah, no, it's just
They
odd.
do.
Just
They do.
All the
It's a weird
interruptions
season.
and-
Yeah.
See, they
Yep.
have to win those
Yep.
games in hand, of course, but you'll see what happens. But hey, man, always good talking to
Awesome.
you. And
Hey, it's great talking to you too, and thank you very, very much.
Yeah, no worries. I'll play that. There's no reasons I know, and hopefully, once things get back up and running again, you
Yeah.
might even be able to come over and do a gig in the Wairarapa at some point. We'll have to
Absolutely. We would love to play the Wairarapa.
Yeah, I'll try and become a music promoter for a weekend and get something happening. But
Excellent.
I'll get back to you, but yeah, no, cool, bro. Take care of yourself.
Nice one.
And
you too, mate. You too.
Yeah, catch
All the
up
best,
soon.
okay?
I'll chuck on that song now.
All right, mate.
Cool, man.
Take care.
See you, bro.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so that was Dan Brown from Polaroids. His band's Polaroids of Polar Bears. Jumping the fucking shark. Sorry about the obscenity there, folks. I'm sure we can handle it. And the other one is Fielding's Best Dancers. But right now, I'm going to play a song from an EP he released last year that he was unable to tour, unfortunately, because of the ongoing COVID situation. But so here it is. There's No Reasons I Know, from the This Is What I Heard EP by Polaroids of Polar Bears. There's No Reasons I Know by Polaroids for Polar Bears. Sorry about the obscene language finish there to anyone that was aggrieved by that, but I thought that was a really cool piece of music. And I've known Dan for a few years. I first met him maybe about 4 or 5 years ago playing football for Fielding United. A friend and I went away to the Wanganui Masters and ended up our team sort of fell over. We had a team from Wairarapa going, and then we had about 10 people pull out like the week before the event. So we contacted the organisers and said, hey, are there any teams that need more players? And luckily there were. Marlon Tortosa, my friend, my Brazilian friend, he joined Tawa, and I joined Fielding United. And we actually ended up playing each other in a game, which Tawa won. They did have a reasonable side, and Fielding were a bit more of a Masters team with a few sort of people who were maybe novice footballers. But it was a great weekend and a lot of fun had by all. I've been friends with those Fielding United guys ever since, and I actually went back and played another tournament with them a couple of years later. Pretty cool. And Dan is a musician who's been sort of working away for years, and you can see from that track that he sort of very much knows what he's doing. That's a really cool track. I really like that. What else are we playing today? I thought maybe I'll play another track that I listened to earlier this week, and then I thought maybe I could look up Jang. Maybe go out with a bit of Jang today, because I've never actually heard Jang, and it's always good to hear some new music. But there was this track that I wanted to play. It's an electronic number, and it's I quite like the bass line of this one, so I'm going to play it. It's called Hey Hey. Is it Hey Hey? I think it's Hey Hey. No, maybe not. Hey Hey's maybe not the one I want to play. Let's view the artist, and we'll see. No, maybe it is. I think it is Hey Hey. Let's check it out, see if it is. No, it wasn't Hey Hey, but it's on now. So I found a track by Jang, and that was Hey Hey, the DF's Attention mix from the album Frankie Rosato in the House. But so it's a good little number, that one. Some good tracks on that, Frankie Rosato in the House. But I did find Jang. This is a short track called All My Friends Are Cops. All My Friends Are Cops by Jang. Check it out. I've never heard it. Hopefully it's suitable for Sunday morning at 11:45. I'm pretty sure it is. Or random guess. Oops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to actually turn that off. That was bit of a mistake on the old machine there for a moment. But I accidentally went back. Check out another Jang song. This is called Dead Weight, and I'll make sure that I don't press back like I did there to access the menu again. But here it is, Dead Weight.
Watch the
Oh, that was Dead Weight by Jang. I actually really enjoyed that. Jang, check them out. Pretty cool band. I'm a fan of that music all of a sudden, just like that. I think I could actually play one more track by Dan's band Polaroid for Polar Bears if I can find... here we go. This is another one by... I need to find that EP. Is this... Oh, that's the... This is what I heard, EP. Is it? No, that's that track again. Sorry. Well, we'll play another one. This is... But they keep looking, well, Dad said, let them look. This is another one by Polaroids for Polar Bears. We'll check this one out. We're coming up to the end of the show. I hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday morning. I went down and helped to coach a bit of football this morning. And it's always good fun. Yeah, I hope that today to get a bit of work done and maybe, like, I don't know, chop some more wood. You got to get your wood chopping out of the way this time of year if you're not buying it. And I actually quite like chopping wood myself. I've got a chainsaw and a hefty splitting axe. I actually bought the splitting axe at a garage sale in Greytown for $3, which I thought was amazing. It's one of those old style sledgehammer looking splitting axe with a big blade on the front. And it's got a bit more oomph than some splitting axes you buy these days. And $3, what a bargain. That's my kind of splitting axe. But anyway, here we go. But they keep looking, well, Dad said, let them look, by Polaroids for Polar Bears. Yeah, well, that was, but they keep looking well, Dad said, let them look, by Polaroids of Polar Bears. That's another good track. Good bit of New Zealand music on here this morning. After that interview with Dan. Interesting hearing about what the local music scene is like from the horse's mouth. A person who has been involved in it for many years, sort of missing those occasions, those gigs. I think everyone's missing them. You know, people are missing getting out and seeing bands. Especially international bands haven't been coming here either, or none of that stuff's been going on. It's sort of, you know, there's nothing like a live gig, is there? It's sort of, you know, the energy in the room and the excitement around what songs they might play, even sort of the excitement of seeing a particular band for the first time, you know, stuff like that. I think it might be a good one to take us out today will be from an album that I mentioned earlier when I was talking to Dan, California by Mr. Bungle, and this is a real favourite of mine. It's called Sweet Charity, and it's a lovely little number by Mike Patton and the boys from Mr. Bungle, and yeah, check it out.
Stop the pouring raindrops will turn to laughter forever after in your technicolor heartbeat, and they say it helps you forget everything. Sweet charity.
Sweet Charity, Mr. Bungle. Good album, that, California. Worth a listen if you haven't heard it before. Thanks for tuning in this week, and have an excellent Sunday and an excellent week. Good day.